I'm not even kidding. I mean, there are people that I've seen, we've recruited thousands of people in our organization throughout all the years. And just some people, they just, they're just making so many mistakes. What are some of the mistakes you see people make?
Okay. So we teach this and I talk about this too. So I think there's different types of sales, right? So there's the kind of sales where you're doing push marketing. And sometimes you got to do that. There's some industries where that's called for, right? Where you go out there and you're pushing the virtues of what it is that you're selling. And hey, man, come buy this. And this is great. And you're like kind of like shoving it down people's throats, right? That's the old way of marketing, the weak way of marketing. The strong way of marketing is that you don't sell. You become a decision architect. What you do is you design the path so that when the consumer, the customer, whoever your customer is for your product or your service comes to you, they want your product. Not only that, they think it's their idea. Just like with kids, I'm a father now, and I realize with my son that if I tell him what to do, it's not going to be very appealing because he wants to be autonomous. He wants to have his own ideas. But if I design his life where the path for him to take is clear and I give him a decision matrix and teach him how to choose when he comes to that decision, which is what I designed for him anyway, and believes that it's his own idea, it's that much more powerful. So that's the first thing. You always want to be in a position where you're doing pull marketing and people are coming to you rather than push marketing, where you're going to people and trying to push stuff down their throat. The second thing that the mistake that most people make is they don't shut the fuck up. I can't tell you how many people I get on the phone pitching me stuff where they're already sold and all they're doing is talking themselves out of the fucking sale. And look, I've been doing this for years. I am a very good influencer of people. It's one of the few skills I have. I'm terrible at a ton of shit, complete fucking failure at a lot of stuff, including crime. But at influence, I'm very good. And I'm listening to these people and I want to stop them. I want to be like, dude, you started at a yes and now you're pushing yourself to a no. Just shut the fuck up. Just ask questions, right? And lead the prospect to the belief that the decision that they're making is theirs. And most people don't do this. Most people think sales is about them saying, hey, how great they are and all this. If you've got that guy on the phone, or if you're in front of that person, unless you're doing push marketing, if you're doing pull marketing, that person already knows most of the stuff they need to know about you. And now, first and foremost, they're trying to gauge your authenticity. Are you a real person? So guys like Grant Cardone, I'm a fan of his, not from the perspective of, I don't know his real estate business or that kind of stuff that he does, but I'm a fan of him being an authentic person. When I look at him, I'm like, man, this is a guy that's come up from a hard enough life. He talks about his life and has made it through hustle. And you can see that, you can smell that on people. When you see people that have hustled, you can really see it. Even someone like Joe Rogan, when you see him, why is Joe Rogan bigger than CNN? Why is he so massive? It's because he's a real fucking dude with all his flaws and shortcomings and all that stuff that he doesn't hide. It's because he's an authentic person. And not only that, one of the best salespeople we've seen in the last 20 years. How much shit does Joe Rogan sell? He sells everything from fucking barbecues to brain supplements to whatever. And he's masterful at it. We don't think of him as a salesman because what's he doing? He's using storytelling. He's using authority. What is that? Pull marketing. Right? That's why the medium that you're in, podcasts, are so fucking amazing because you get to spend 30 minutes, an hour with somebody while they're on the beach going on their run, while they're at the gym, while they're on their commute. They get to know you. They get to understand your story. So by the time they get on the phone with you, dude, you don't need to sell them. You need to get to know them and you need to ask questions. And at the end of those questions, what happens? Those are leading questions. They believe that it's their decision to buy your thing. And you're like, but man, I didn't sell anything. I didn't push anything. No, you did. That's the way that it's done. That's how sales are done. High ticket sales. People come to me all the time wanting to do high ticket sales. And I tell them, when you get somebody on the phone, stop fucking selling. Nobody cares about how great you are, how amazing your product or whatever is. That's all on a website. right? There's a website for that. There's a deck you can mail them, right? And you can explain to people at some point what that is, but that's not sales. That's just describing, explaining stuff, right? We make a video and we send it to people before their call, so they've got all the tech stuff out of the way, and then it's just questions.
It's interesting what you're saying, because I mean, you're so right on. I mean, look, social media and this, I mean, when you talk about authenticity, I mean, social media has changed the game for everybody. Now we all have our own commercials that we can just constantly play every single day. I post a new video every day. I talk about something. I let people know my thinking. And look, the one thing that I think people, a big challenge that people are having out there, is that they are thinking that they got to get everybody to like them. And that to me is not the game that we should be playing anymore, because now our audience is billions of people. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even when we really didn't have a grasp of social media marketing, we had to say everything right all the time, because we only had 10 people in our sphere of influence. If we lost 9 of them, we didn't have anybody to go sell to.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now, today, we have unlimited amounts of people to sell to. So what we want to do, I think, is directly go after the people that, that they feel good about us, right? Like a guy like you, Shaahin. I like you because I was a bad kid growing up, right? I mean, I got in a lot of trouble, and I kind of always knew the line. So thank God I didn't, nothing too crazy, but I was one of those kids that I was in the principal's office every few days.
Sure.
They knew me, but what I do know is that people, they look at that story, they see that story, and they go, I like that guy. Now some people go, I don't like that guy. Daniel said the F word on the podcast, and I just don't like that guy, right? And they'll tune out. And they won't be excited about that. But I'm not worried about that. Yeah. What I'm excited about is meeting a guy like you that's not afraid to say fuck on the podcast and say, look, I'm a real person, and I say fuck sometimes. I do get pissed off. I do say, when I hit my foot, I say shit, and I bang on the wall, and I get up. I'm a normal human being. But that's what I love about you. You have a great smile too, but that's what I love about you, man. And that's what other people love about you as well. And I think more of us need to stop getting on camera and trying to put on this perfect little smile and image, and let people know who you really are, and just attract the people that are like you, because there's millions of people like you. There's millions of people like me. And we only really need to sell to a few thousand of them to become super wealthy, if you think about it. Am I making any sense here?
Yeah, totally. No, it's true. And actually, my friend Chris Voss, the FBI negotiator, he wrote the foreword to my book, Billion, How I Became King of the Throw Pill Cult. And Chris oftentimes talks about that. And I think one of the things that he taught me and a few other friends of ours is that don't sell to people who are not a fit. And you might think, well, yeah, but I'm losing all these prospects. Not really. You're freeing up time to sell to the people who do matter. So that's okay. Now, with that said, you don't want to be a dick and disqualify people right away for no reason. If you have them on the phone, get to knowing them and get to qualifying them. But that's the first step, of course, in any sale is, hey, Mr. Prospect, I'm so glad you took the time to talk with me today. Here's what we're going to do. Tell them what you're going to tell them, right? We're going to first see if you're a fit for us and if we're a fit for you. And if that works out, then I'll go forward and, we'll learn a little bit more about your business and see if we can help you out. Sound fair enough? Great. So
fair enough.
In that way, you take an approach. And if you find out that you can't, you're not a fit for this person, or they're not a fit for you, I always bring some extra value. I'm like, hey, maybe you're not a fit for us right now, but let's keep the door open. I'm gonna hang on to your email, or here's my buddy, here's my buddy Daniel. He's in financial services. We don't do that, but give him a call. He might be able to help you. And pretty soon you'll realize that those people that might not have been a fit for you are sending you other people who are, because you're not a taker, you're a giver. You're not coming from the standpoint of, oh, I'm going to push this down your throat. You're going to sell you. Oh yeah. You don't have a horse and I'm trying to sell you equestrian stuff. Well, like, one day you'll get a horse. Come on, buy it. No, it doesn't work that way. You're like, oh man, dude, my stuff's only for people who've got horses. So you don't have a horse. I get it. I know you got cats here. Talk to my buddy who handles cats, right? Or let me give you this free book on that, or here's a free resource, or here's something I'm going to give you. I end every call by giving somebody something. So I think it's a way forward where, you know, you also kind of building this like karma in the workplace, in the marketplace.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.